Yeah. Every week we coming live with it. Number one show, yeah, you know we top 5 with it. Shout out to the host, Miss Lex Alexander. If you have a hot topic, you should ask her to cover it. Audience loving it. Clap, clap, bravo to the show that keeps you company. From politics to entertainment, relationships, spiritual awakening. Yeah, we cover it all. Food for thought for my sisters and brothers involved. From that 318 to 225 for real. 504 to 985, you feel? Yeah, we the best out. Conversation debating on what's next now. Miss Lex Alexander all across the globe. You are now tuned in to the CountOur Talk show. We are now live from that CountOur Talk.
You are tuned in to that CountOur Talk.
We are now live from that CountOur Talk.
You are tuned in to that CountOur Talk.
We are now live from that CountOur Talk.
You are tuned in to that CountOur Talk.
We are now live from that CountOur Talk.
You are tuned in to that CountOur.
What is up, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in to the next episode of Tripped in the Tribulation. It's a part of a series within a series, part of my CountOur Talk spiritual podcast. So basically, I've just been breaking down year by year what it was like with me, tripping into like my season of learning and growing in darkness and all this shit like that. So I'm gonna get off into it. The year that we're picking back up off of is 2022. I was busy getting episodes of Off the Menu like squared away before I like got back to this. But yeah, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and wrap this up. So go ahead and move forward or whatever, okay? So the year is 2022. That year right there was like, I was kind of like easing into like back into being like in the dark. Not like in no like I'm out in the spiritual wilderness like I was, but it was more so like, okay, I'm living alone. Every day I come home, it's just like, just peace and quiet. Like, it's how I left it. It's just me to worry about. And I would make it like a party every day. I'm coming home, I'm rolling up, I'm taking shots, drinking my wine, I'm turned up and listening to music for hours, dancing. Like, it was really like I was partying with my dark side, I guess, because it was like certain thoughts I was having, certain feelings I was having. It was like I wasn't going like into them, I wasn't exploring them. It was just like, well, fuck that, turn up. Fuck that. Like, I was just kind of like numbing myself to certain things that were like coming to me and numbing myself from like everybody, like in my own way, because I felt like my own company was good enough. Not that I don't like enjoy my own company, but at that time, I was like kind of contributing to me being in the dark place, like, because I was making it fun. I was making it fun, like running away from myself. I was liking to be fucked up when I was kicking it with the person I was dealing with at the time. Like, everything had revolved around me, like feeling like, I'm lit, I'm turned up, I live alone, I could be around this bitch drunk and naked, like, just really getting too comfortable with doing that, because I hadn't ever done that before. Like, I had like a little glimpse of it back in 2018 when I lived alone, but that wrapped up because like I got busy with working on something, and then I ended up getting into a relationship. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm turned up every day, but I kind of got back in that mindset of not remembering what it is that I'm doing, or I wanted to do. I was cool with, like, I'm paying my bills. I'm eating what I want, drinking what I want, smoking what I want. Like, that was cool for me. It wasn't registered to me like, okay, like, get back to your gifts, like, pick your shit back up that you had lost and scattered everywhere. So I'm turned up every day. And then maybe like halfway into the year, it was like, damn, what am I doing? Do I want to have a family one day? Do I really want to settle down one day? Do I want to just say, fuck whatever it is I have been searching for as far as like my purpose and just go ahead and be a teacher? All those like type of questions would like be jumping out at me, but I kept like fucking avoiding them. I wasn't like dealing with anybody that was necessarily like, he was supportive, like, if I brought something up to him, he'd be like, do your thing with it. But he wasn't like very supportive or even asking me what it is that I'm on. So I kind of had in mind like, okay, this is going nowhere. It was kind of like we was like in the void together when we would be together. Like, I'm in his void, and then when I'm not with him, I'm in my own void. And I was just like floating in that bitch. Really, that's my best way of putting it. Now, it wasn't like I wasn't still learning things and still reading and journaling. I was still doing all of it, but I was having too much of a good time, or I was finding a way to make the shit numb by telling myself that I'm turning up, or I'm having fun, or I'm escaping into music, or I'm playing these games with this person because I subscribe to their games, basically. Like, I was just like in a kind of like in a weird ass space, ultimately. I had to figure myself out, because even though I had been living alone for like a year at that point, I still hadn't like figured myself out completely. Cause like, okay, you're not in survival mode anymore. So you're having to learn all this shit over about yourself, like really paying attention to yourself, how you like things to be, what you do like to eat, what you don't like to eat, like what you go ahead and cook, what you will let go bad. How you're preserving just anything in the house, how you're organizing things in the house, your interests, like what are you doing, hobbies, all of it. I was able to like start back figuring this shit out again. I cleared the space out because I was like, okay, I'm wanting like new vibes, new energy. And then it dawned on me that I was just stuck in my mind. I didn't even feel like I just moved into like my whole space until like maybe the end of 2023. It was like moving out of my mind and then moving out of my room and then moving into my space. Like, it'll be times like I would not be in my living room at all, going straight to my room. And it's like, okay, this is kind of low key a trauma response because you have been so used to like being confined to a room or having a roommate, or when I was living with my mom, or when I was just like trying to have peace away from, things. It would be a bedroom, would be my, safe space. So I had to kind of like pull myself out of this. Like, okay, get into like your home. So as I kind of moved away from just always being in my bedroom, it was kind of like, okay, so what do I do in the living room? You're living in the living room? Like, so what you be doing? It was kind of like that. So I had to bring things in that I guess, would stimulate my mind. I didn't want to watch TV. I was just really like figuring myself out, not really connected with God and spirit. It was like I was in the midst of like being on the way to the type shit. So I didn't realize what was going on at the time. I'm thinking like, I'm good, I'm healed, I'm strong, I'm living on my own. It's like, no, bitch. You're like kind of like depressed or something. Something's not right. Kind of like starting back to like isolate myself from people and just being in my thoughts all the time. That's what 2022 was. It was just like me being in the void and floating around it, bitch. And truly trying to find myself again. I didn't think like that was something you would have to actively do. You have to like keep pulling yourself up and remembering. Not even on some like you want some autopilot shit. That's completely different. I'm talking about living in your truth and being real and raw and facing yourself. Not you putting on an act, you acting like a woman for this man, or you acting like a friend for this. No. How are you with you? I had to get reacquainted with myself all over because I had been kind of like soft and I guess kind of detached and spoiled. Like I just wasn't aware of how real shit was or could get until I actually went through it. Until I felt like the hurt that I had inflicted on. So it's like, okay, coming to like this realization made going into 2023 a whole nother like ball game, because it's like it got heavier. 2023, the first half was heavy as fuck. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and transition over into 2023, baby. That year right there, I'm saying it like that shit was 10 years ago. That's what the fuck it feels like compared to where I'm at now mentally and everything like coming full circle and shit. 2023 was like that final big fucking purge. Like all that darkness that I had been like festering in 2022, I wasn't having like no I'm giving up on life type shit. It was just really like, what the fuck is life? What is it that I want to do that I'm actually like interested in, I'm passionate about? And it's still been the same shit. It's been the same shit it's been since I know 2015. So it's like, okay, what is it that you need to do to get back to that? 2023 led me to asking them type of questions. Now, it started off like cool. I was not unhappy at the time. As far as like that twin flame shit, that kind of became relevant again in 2023. Not on some like it was all beautiful and whimsical and shit. It was like that final like stabbing, like that final like the final surrender, the final purge, like it all like panned out how it was supposed to. But I came back to myself in 2023. The second half. The first half, I'm still like chasing a feeling. I'm still like concerned with others and how I'm appealing to others and just not as worried about myself as I should have been. And it was like getting to that point, like I was trying to hold on to like an old timeline that was like diminishing before my eyes. And I hadn't realized it. So I finally like saw my twin flame after being down in BR for all the time I had been. And for me, it was surreal and magical and beautiful. I can't speak for the other person, but like to finally like see him again, it was like great. And I'm thinking like, okay, this is it. But no, bitch, that was nothing more than like uh a farewell to like that old version of me. I didn't realize she was like dying before my eyes. It was like some rebirth shit I was in the midst of, and I didn't realize it. So, um, me and him was cool. We was running it here and there, as often as we would talk. And it was like he sent me a message like, whatever it is you like thinking or expecting, I don't think I could be there for you right now. Or I don't think I could be there for you or some shit. I was just like, damn, nigga, this came out of nowhere. You just gonna hurt me like that? And it like hurt my feelings. Like I felt it. I cried because it was like, damn, this nigga is like rejecting me. This shit has never happened. It was very like, damn. Um, it was a dull ache. And I just couldn't believe that all this time that's like what it came to. So I'm still thinking like, okay, whatever. I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. He just in one of his moods. I'll hit him up again eventually, blah blah. So I'm steady coming back to myself though in the midst of this. And shit got very interesting as far as like my faith being questioned. Things are getting kind of rough for me mentally. I had planned on doing like this project, and the original like date that I had planned on getting it done, this shit fell through. The person that was supposed to do it just basically just fucked up the whole operation. So I'm like, damn. I was discouraged. That shit hurt me. It was just kind of like, damn, like, do I even need to keep trying this shit? Fuck, I'm even trying for. So I was just like so set on getting that one thing done that I would let it like discourage me from everything else that I had remembered that I had wanted to do. So I'm coming back to myself, and I had to just surrender to God for peace. I had to surrender to God in spirit. Like, hey, like, I don't know what else to do to just feel at peace. Because I don't like my energy. I feel like it was just scattered everywhere. I didn't understand, like, I hadn't been grounding on a daily, none of that. I was just really like feeling discouraged and angry. I couldn't understand, like, damn, I'm trying, so what the fuck? Not realizing, like, this is something you have to get over because you're being given the time and the space to do what the fuck it is you would like to do. Believe it or not. So it's on you to do whatever it is the fuck it is you want to do. When it comes to other people, you can't like really be worried about them. You can't dictate your life based on what other people are doing. It's some shit you want to do, you gotta just go ahead and do it. So I was like, okay, let me step back into like some other shit. Let me distract myself because like I end up releasing like a mini web series type deal. And it was cool, but it didn't necessarily satisfy the hunger I had. It pleased me because it showed me like I still have the ability to like come up with some shit and get somebody to channel it and bring it to life. I had like looked up with even getting that done was like somebody that had been like believed in my vision like way back when. Shout out to DRT aka Rice and Gravy Visuals. Rice and Gravy Visuals, shout out to a real one for real. So that like gave me that spark again, but it kind of faded out. And then alongside that, the twin flame shit reached back out and hey, we were talking and things were kind of okay on regular. And then it was one day I feel like I was just processing something heavy. I feel like my whole fucking body was like aching. It was crazy. I wasn't like sick or nothing like that. I had to like get up and stretch and like pray to feel better. Well, the fuck that was. I didn't know what the fuck it was. So after that, I'm hitting him up like I'm thinking maybe it's like this is some collective thing that happened spiritually. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I hit him up like on something like how were you the other day, like you was feeling alright. He was like, yeah, he felt cool, he felt normal. And I was like, oh, okay, I just wanted to ask because I genuinely was like, what the fuck was it I was feeling? And I kid you not, I go back to like try to speak with him. This motherfucker done blocked me. At the time, you realized shit was gonna be coming full circle because I had brown head and started back doing CountOur Talk, and I was getting like super fucked up, just to even feel like I can kind of record it. Now I just be like, I'm chilling, I get it now. I'm finding my way with this like podcast and shit because it's something that I like to do, and I know that I'd be very good at. As long as I keep, putting that effort into it. Y'all gonna see my shit grow and expand. Like, you don't know what a nigga went through to like even get back to this point where I want to sit down and fucking record and just talk my shit and speak my real. So this shit happened. He blocked me. I feel like I had spoken on somebody like how it is when people block you. And for it to like manifest in that way was like, what the fuck? It was something I would do to him randomly sometimes. I would always unblock him. It wasn't like I'm hard blocking. It hurt me again. But it hurt me so bad that time because it was like, what was that for? Literally. I only genuinely came at you with love and support. Like, truthfully believed in your vision, seeing you for like who you really are, not what it is you have or you put on to have or what the fuck, or who you look up to be and all of that. It was just genuinely a feeling. It was a feeling that the motherfucker gave me that nobody else had given me. So it was kind of like, God damn, I'm not, fuck you, dog. Not like that, ain't fuck you, but at that moment I was like, fuck you. Because you intentionally hurt me. Like, you knew what that would do. So it's like, okay, if who I thought was this is treating me this way, then he can't really be like the love of my life. your twin flame is not like the love of your life. They're the person that like you look if it's the love of your life you end up with, cool. But they're really that person that like catapults you into like your spiritual journey. And he's really just like a a gauge for the growth I've made. Because after that hurt and just dealing with like holiday depression, I didn't have a fucking Thanksgiving. That shit fucked my head up because I tried to attempt to record something that day, and that day just ended up being just very rough mentally. And then Christmas, I wasn't tripping about Christmas. I wasn't expecting nothing because I wasn't fucking with nobody like that to even begin anything. But it was just like, damn, I had no choice but to turn inward because that's what God and Spirit intended. And to me, like, as far as like twin flame goes, like, when we do have a conversation again, I know it's gonna be like on some, damn, I see you, like, I see you. Like, you doing your motherfucking thing. Like, it'll be that. That'll be the time. Because I feel like with that nigga Ed, what he working on, what he's doing and accomplishing, I get why, like, small talk with people who still trying to make it and da-da-da can be a bit off-putting. And that nigga taught me a lot and showed me like a blueprint in a way. I know and I can go forward knowing more. So that's what like going into 2024 is like. I was carrying my hurt, but I was processing it. I was letting it go. I was accepting shit. I was seeing people for like who they were. I didn't feel the need to like keep up appearances for anybody. I had to go in and finish that work off. I had to think about all the motherfuckers that didn't hurt me, all the motherfuckers I didn't hurt, the shit I've overcome, the situations I put myself in, all that shit. I had to just like sit the fuck down. I had to write through this shit. I had to journal through it. My journey. I had to journal the journey. And come to all these conclusions. And be like, damn, like, okay, I see now. Talking to God in spirit is like, that reigns supreme. And my ancestors, like, the divine and the universe showing me all the signs. And my spirit team is covering and protecting me. So it's like a good feeling, a good knowing now. And that's what I was growing into. It was like in the beginning stages. So 2024 kicking off. I'm finally purging. I'm not even interested like in love or anything. Because like I was still feeling whatever that fucking hurt was I was feeling. I had to like let that shit out and let it go. So I'm steady processing this shit. And all of my interests are coming back. I'm coming up with like I'm doing the work actually for my Off the Menu podcast. I'm like, okay, I had been mentioned like to coworkers like, man, we should have like a TikTok doing cyber confessionals or blah blah blah, just all this shit. I spent like 2 years like, brainstorming and talking ideas with people, and it's like that's when shit get caught up in loops. Like I'm like, okay, let me just sit the fuck down and like get this shit going, get it started. So it's like, okay, I'm getting back kind of like in the swing of things, and March is here. March is like good, abundant. The year had just been very healing. Like winter was healing for me. It started off kind of rough, but it ended up being very healing for me. Like, I was preparing for the spring new year renewal type energy and shit. So this eclipse that happened in May, this is where like everything comes like full circle as far as like tripping and tribulation. Because it started in 2017 with that eclipse, August of 2017. And I'll just never forget that day. I remember I had went to New Orleans. I looked right into that beach, not knowing I was entering like the motherfucking spiritual wilderness. So I had been doing very good, like mentally, getting my like routines in order, um, closing old chapters, getting back to myself. Like I see me now, I see me again. Like I ain't letting shit get in the way of it, type shit. Like I hadn't seen this me in 4 years, type shit. And before that, it had been like a couple years. It's kind of like I ain't losing this bitch again, no more. So it was leading up to that eclipse. I had been like peeping and reading about it, and I was like, damn man, people comparing it to 2017 as far as like the energy and how shit aligned up and da da da. And then it hit me like, bitch, this shit coming full circle. You see how good you feeling? Like you really learned your lessons. You really not trying to carry none of that old shit forward. Like you really shifting your mental. Your consciousness is expanding again in the best way. You're not expanding like in the dark, in the void. You learned in the dark, but you're expanding your consciousness in the light type shit. So it was just so random to me because I had been like, keeping up with it. And my good friend Alexis, like, yes, I have a friend named Alexis. That's my bitch. I love her. But she hit me up like on the day of the eclipse now. And I don't think she really, I think I had kind of, I don't know if I really told, yeah, I had told her something about like what had happened when I looked in the eclipse and blah, blah, and life and all that. Like, we are running about stuff like that. But I had talked to my reader like the day before. Shout out to the Sublime Empress. I talked to her and was just like, yeah, I'm feeling good, but like I done learned everything and blah blah. And then guess what? That next day, that Monday, the day of the eclipse, Alexis hit me up and was like, do you want to ride with me to New Orleans? Right? So fucking random to take one of our coworkers to the airport. This shit was so fucking symbolic, mind blowing. It gave me chills thinking about how profound this shit was. How everything just like came full circle. I couldn't fucking deny it. I could not deny it. I couldn't deny it. It was like all the things I shed and let go of and made peace with, and how I started back focusing on like my creative shit and my vision. Everything just started back fucking aligning. And it's beautiful. This life shit is beautiful. So everything came full circle. Now, leading up to that, I had got like sick. I had like a bad like sinus infection, and it was just so much. Like I gotta see, like I had somebody that show up for me that I didn't necessarily expect to, but I'm glad like that was how we didn't end shit like on a bad note type shit. It was like, that dark angel, whatever fuck. But yeah, everything came full circle for me. So being at this point now, and we in the halfway point of 2024, June to be exact. Today is June 7th to be exact. To be at this point now, my nigga, this shit is fucking, man, flawless victory type shit. To arrive at this point, the shit I hear on a constant and observing how so many other people are like lost and they still trying to find their way, it be like I get it and I'm able to sympathize. It's like I had to go through all this shit so I can like make them remember, or I can guide them in a way back to themselves, back to their faith, whatever that may be. Even if that ain't in shit, you go, hey, you go be your best, Eddie. So yeah, like that purging I did leading up to that point, I didn't realize that's what I was doing. 2022, I had time just fucking ground in the mud, just getting deep down in the mud and just growing through that until I showed gratitude and I was given grace and my roots locked in and I was able to like break through the motherfucking break ground. Okay? That's what that shit is like. So yeah, that's truth in the tribulation, baby. Like wherever you are on your like spiritual journey, on your path, like don't doubt yourself at all. Know that you're gonna get through whatever it is. What's for you is for you, and it's up to you to decide that. Ultimately, like God and Spirit is mother and father. And just like any parents, like if your child, you love your child and they're doing what they're supposed to do, guess what? Okay. They get what the fuck they want. So I'm walking in my truth, in my power, in my light. And I'm going upstream. And from here on out, the podcast episodes will be about me exploring others' journeys, how they seeing this shit. And honestly, I'll do the final part of Tripping and Tribulation at the end of 2024 because I know that it's gonna be some magical shit that happen. Y'all probably gonna be seeing me say this shit by the end. But yeah, thank you for listening to me summarize being out in the spiritual wilderness and learning rights and wrongs and ultimately choosing like to be good and to do good and to preserve myself and my peace and my creativity. Cause I've met motherfuckers that feel like it's like you an agent. It's like you literally in my way on purpose type shit. Like you a hater type shit. It be that type of shit. Like they're literally coming to distract you from the mission. I don't accept none of that type of shit now. Like I probably done love. I'm not saying I'm not gonna meet my husband one day or fall in love, but I probably done felt the deepest I'ma feel in an innocent way for a man, and I've probably already like had some of the best sex I ever had, and yeah, I'm not like searching for that. I know what it feels like. Open to being in the unknown of what I'm creating and building and making things better and easier and freeing my people mentally and helping everybody. Ultimately, like that's like a part of the mission. So yeah, thank y'all for listening to this. This actual follow-up episode, you gonna have to catch this shit at the end of 2024, December 2024, because all this shit is coming full circle, and I have so much gratitude. Motherfucking tude. Okay, so thank y'all once again. I really ran it on here, but I want to go ahead and just like compile those years into one. Be on the lookout. The next episode, I'll be featuring a guest, and from here on out, me just exploring people's like spiritual journeys and the crazy shit they done seen and went through, and what they believe in. All right, Oracle signing